there that I want to credit for my existing research, right? Before I kind of go into the topic about where is all the market liquidity coming from. If you're new to my channel, I am Ryan. I have been investing in the crypto space since 2016. I am a angel investor, and I guess I would say a slight degen occasionally, but not like very bad degen. So I've enjoyed the ups and the downs, just like most folks, and I'm currently just enjoying myself making content. Most of the videos are non-financial advice. It is just for education and entertainment purposes. So before I kind of get into the whole where is the liquidity coming from to bring us from 1.4 trillion to potentially 3 or 5 trillion, which is very important, right? Because I think a lot of good channels out there, I think the latest one I kind of came across is Virtual Bacon. This dude is so-called a angel investor. I like the fact that he's very methodical, he's very well researched, and yeah, give him a follow. You know, this guy, he has done most of the work that I have done, but I've never done it to the extent with all the Excel spreadsheets and graphs and stuff like that. There are occasional biases in his videos, but it's okay. I think everybody needs to have a bias. For me, I want to keep things very neutral, very holistic. Okay, so let me get to the whole where is the liquidity going to be coming from. First and foremost, the gateways have been kind of destroyed at this point of time, at least the larger gateways. So for example, FTX, right, was one of the larger gateways into crypto. Right now, you have the existing gateways, which is any existing exchange or DeFi exchange or DEX that allows users to connect their wallets or deposit fiat directly. This is not really the main drivers. The main drivers will be the spot ETFs, but I would say that it's going to be much slower versus having one exchange that is shilling as big across the board. Because right now, when you think about how private banks are functioning, right, for them to approve the spot ETF, first and foremost, they also have to make sure that they get their custody up and running. That means they need to have the license to also hold high net worth Bitcoin and Ethereum. So if everything can be approved simultaneously, then that's great. But it's only going to be open to the high net worth first. This is not going to be for retail, at least not for the first 2 to 3 years, until, you know, it kind of doesn't make sense where you approve it and it's open to retail. But retail investors are already existingly investing on their own. Like if you were like myself, who kind of entered into crypto in 2017, and then you stumbled upon crypto maybe in 2019, right? That's because it's the kind of the bull run, the second bull run. You more or less will know where to start buying futures, and you would already have participated in some form of crypto, right? And at the same time, stable coins are reasonably abundant at this point of time. So you have quite a number of stable coins that are available for you to move in and out of and take profit into. So there's no lack for the retail. It's just that you want to kind of officially announce that crypto is accepted. It is through the banks, right? And we are talking about banks that have been open for business for quite a number of years. So first and foremost, you have BlackRock, you have JP Morgan, you might have probably Fidelity. I know that there's total of 12 or 13 applications waiting for the SEC to approve. There'll be some that get through, some that won't, but doesn't matter. One going through is all it takes. So then you will start seeing some kind of rise in the market, especially for Bitcoin and Ethereum. That will be the first mover. So how and where is the liquidity coming from? It's pretty obvious that a large part of the current liquidity will still move back through the DEXs or gradually and slowly into existing accounts like Gemini, Coinbase. The problem with entering into a centralized exchange is that you are a little bit concerned about their security, their security and excuse me, and the ability to withdraw. Because people are not going to be so stupid to kind of hold and hodl and hold on for dear life or whatever shit anymore. It's just going to be very straightforward. Okay, I make maybe a certain percentage and I'm going to cash out into fiat, or I'm going to go into a stable coin and withdraw it. Everybody's going to be a little bit smarter. So I'm going to say that this time around, the bull market should be slightly more sustainable unless there is some bold attempt by one or two individuals. One, there will always be one individual that will come from the crypto space directly, or two, the other one will come from a license. Sorry. Everybody will come from the crypto space directly. One will come from the licensed and more governed angle, right, where they claim that they will always be working with SEC, they will always be connecting with the regulators. Then the other one will be purely decentralized, right? So a very good example is Do Kwon, which in the heyday successfully created the Terra Luna ecosystem, and then you have FTX that goes by the so-called old school TradFi route, right? Because he opened a centralized exchange. Both, at the end of the day, if you think about it, will always be invested in building that community. Then it trickles down to the next level, which is your influencers. The VCs will start listening in on, okay, what am I gonna buy? We have some spare cash that we can set aside, that we can probably punt on this. 1-2 mil, not an issue. Some who have bigger coffers can invest a little bit more. Hence, they're gonna start calling up their connections, right, to get into the market, which isn't an issue. 1-2 million per time, 10 million at a time, not an issue, right? Because a lot of these players have already been building up partnerships with Circle, who is the issuer for USDC, or they are partnering with USDT directly where they do minting, right? Because the minting program is very straightforward. You are going to commit, or at least you're going to commit an X amount of USDT, USDC, and then after that, okay, there's going to be folks that are already holding the USDT, USDC because they were, smart enough. They were never into hodling. They were always buying or at least profiting in USDC, USDT, waiting for enough liquidity to return to the market. Now, the issue here, and will always be, right, that no one really talks about, right, is the fact that money has to move from one capital controlled country. I will not name any particular country. You just go and figure that out for yourself. One capital controlled country out to another country that has the ability to start moving the money around. Now, it's always very challenging because when you move the money from an exchange to an account, really there's no issue, right? You're just speculating. After you speculate, you still need to get back into fiat, right? Because no one's gonna freaking accept, for example, Matic as a form of payment. You can't buy a home with Matic, even though how popular. You can't pay your utility bills with Solana, at least not in Singapore, right? And I'm staying in Singapore. I would still majority of the time prefer Singapore dollars, right? So the reality is that we are coming into the start of a bull market because there is clear accumulation happening. That's like a given. But we need to have the catalyst. We need to have the gateways to allow the money to flow in. So one, spot ETF. Two, you need to have enough developments to tell the story, to paint the picture. So for example, you have a story like, Polkadot 2.0 or AI machine learning, some industry like that. And then what are the developments? Now, AI machine learning can be sold as a very powerful story because of how popular OpenAI and ChatGPT is, right? Because it's relatively successful, that angle will be, to me, a beta play, right? At least for this round. Because in 2018 or 2019, when there were AI tokens, quite frankly, they didn't get much of a pump. For some weird reason, it was the NFT marketplaces, and you have the crypto gaming, which is the metaverse the metaverse section that kind of got the whole money in. And I realized, okay, there's a certain amount of Asian developers, right, that were doing it. And one thing I know about this, where same thing, back to the theory of capital control, right? When you have money that you need to move out of your freaking country, you need to think of ways to get it out. So one, you build or at least know gaming developers, right? Or you know projects that are, people from those projects who have built a layer 1, layer 2 solution that they can, and their tokens are large enough, are liquid enough, and are available on both DEXs and preferably DEXs. I'll get to that later. But if they are on centralized exchanges, that's cool too. Okay, so whenever there's some association, so it cannot run away. The reason why you notice, like projects like Polkadot don't really get that much momentum, even though Polkadot, right, has a lot of developers, but there's just the fact that there's no connection, right? Because that is run by Gavin Wood. Now, Ethereum, on the other hand, because it's just a first mover advantage, it was the very first smart contract application, right, that was built. So it's like a default, I have to use it. Even though the gas fees are very high, I would still use Ethereum. Also, at the same time, it's easier to swap from Ethereum to most tokens. So as long as there's that fluidity between one token to another, there's enough liquidity from one token to another. At the same time, I don't have to reveal my identity as quickly or as easy. I don't have to reveal my identity, right? And I can perform a transaction that I can move millions at a time. That is going to be the token that you want to be investing in, or at least you want to kind of ride the wave. I wouldn't say investing, sorry. Don't use the word investing. I would say that you will just want to put your money in for a punt, ride the wave, get out. Because I wouldn't say that these projects are not building something, because when you look on Crunchbase, by the way, you can see how much money they've raised, as in actual money for equity. Now, whether or not these VCs or these investors, let's just say venture capitalists or high net worth individuals, are they going to get tokens? I'm pretty sure, apart from the actual money that they place, US dollars or whatever money that they raise, they are also getting an X amount of tokens. Then you have to look at the liquidity that is being locked by these people, right? Like, when is their schedule, on when are they going to release their funds. So you can go to, I think, Token Lock, and this is also, I credit to Virtual Bacon. You can look at this Token Lock, which is a website, and then you can see, oh, okay, this X amount of tokens are yet to hit the market, and these are held by whom? The founders, developers, you have the seed investors, and then after that you have community, that kind of thing. It's just, it's always the same shit, guys. So I don't want to be I don't want to be the one to, like, oh, can you give me an opinion about this token? Like, okay, I appreciate it, guys. I love you guys. I know that you all want to hear an opinion on my thoughts, but I think there are so many better channels out there that love, like, analyzing on the various tokens. It's all a show, guys. It's really all a show. I'm not saying that there's no actual development, but when you talk about the actual money coming in, it really boils down to, I need to move my money from this country to another country, and that's just about it. You know what I mean? And I want to not be taxed. I don't want people to find out that I'm moving this amount of money. Crypto is still the best place. Now, the whole Bitcoin spot ETF, right? Sure. Yes, there's going to be, the good thing is that high net worth individuals are going to only want to buy up Bitcoin and Ethereum, because it is a good thing that FTX kind of fucked up in his whole show, right? So it goes to show, like, they were waiting for something like this. It didn't have to be FTX. It didn't have to be Sam Bankman-Fried. Okay, it didn't have to be. But because it happened, the banks were just sitting there waiting, and then, like, oh, yummy. Okay, this dude fell, right? Now it boils down to us. Like, it was all just waiting to happen. They knew that just by the negligence, mismanagement, the inexperience of running an exchange at that level, right? Because don't forget, JP Morgan is, they already been around for so long already. They're not noobs. So they're just waiting for, a youngster like SBF to come in, be smart, really intelligent, and then raising money, playing League of Legends while VCs were while doing a VC pitch. So brilliant. Wow. Only to fuck up, fall down face flat, face a 115-year jail sentence, and then people like, I told you so. So now we are going to help you store your crypto. You want to invest in Bitcoin or Ethereum? Not a problem. We have the spot ETF. At some point, we're going to open up custodial services, which of course we will charge you a custodial fee of maybe 1 or 2%. Not much, but we're definitely going to be helping you save it, keep it safe, and at the same time, if you wanted to pass it down to your next of kin, because Bitcoin, there's only so many, right? It's a capped supply of 21 million. You just sell the pitch to all these high net worth individuals. And by the way, these are new. They totally don't know. Like the real high net worth individuals, I'm not gonna approach JP Morgan. Maybe they will, because at the end of the day, it's like, since you can substantiate your wealth, right? Why not, right? But if you're new, like suddenly you're like, I don't know, like someone who never makes more than 100,000 a year, and you just got really lucky in one shit coin, and you want to, and you got really lucky in one shit coin, you're a millionaire, but you suddenly want to open a bank account with these banks, right? Quite frankly, I think it's going to be very difficult because you need to substantiate your source of wealth and your source of funds. Now, I'm not saying that you won't get approved. It's just that for them to want to let you in, you have to show some credentials, right? That you are able to open a high net worth bank account. So this is why this time around, I feel that the bull market hopefully will be a little bit more sustained because you're not seeing that, or at least you're not able to hear and see the high level shilling. And all the crypto influencers are going to be very methodical and careful. Just look at Big Boy Crypto. Like, I realized that he's still shamelessly around, man. And people are just very nice to forgive him for the amount of, negligence in his shilling. Like, that dude was a pure salesman, man. But I think people like watching him because of the entertainment value. Like, this funny fat dude is just talking about shit all the time. Like, it's okay. It's very simple to be a personality on YouTube, guys. I'll be very frank. You just have a team to do the nerdy research for you, right? And then from then, you just have a personality to stand in front of the camera and be willing to shield. So it's no harm. Everybody needs to pay the bills, right? So it's through affiliation, right? It's through affiliate marketing, of course, where you click on the link below and you support me. Sure, if you want to support, it's okay. I guess if you feel that this channel is providing you value and you make money kind of through the channel and through the recommendations, from then you go down the whole rabbit hole of, finding a support. You find a support system through that network. So just remember, guys, that so I got one comment, right? You see, I'm still regrowing my channel again, starting up, and I saw this comment. I'm a single mother. Whether it's an actual account or not, I don't really know. But let's just say it's real, right? So this single mother was saying, I'm a single mother that would like to invest in crypto. I would like to say, to invest in crypto, you need to make sure that you have set aside an amount that you're willing to just put in, and it's gonna potentially go to zero. Okay, you cannot be putting in money that you cannot afford to play with. Like, for example, you need it for rent, you need it for your child's school fees. Please don't do that. And that's why the reason why I do not want to do consultations anymore, at least not for the general public, right, is because I know for a fact that I cannot and I don't want to validate your net worth. Like, after a while, I feel that I'm more comfortable working with the network that I have because I know that these are big boys and we just share amongst ourselves. It was kind of like very painful when I realized that, okay, the general public, when it's a bull market, like right now, we know that it's gonna start going up already. So whatever I say, quite frankly, is gonna go up. It doesn't have to come from me. So I'd rather not be the guy that gives you that content. Then it's okay that you don't watch. But I rather look at the general picture. I kind of preempt you all the way, like a few steps down. What's going to happen? And I feel more comfortable. I'm not obliged to keep launching content. You know what I mean? As long as you get the bigger picture, and then after that, you go and find channels that love shilling and talking about different cryptocurrencies and different staking yields and all that. Like every one has their superpower, you know what I mean? My superpower is just that, okay, I'm just going to tell you what's going to happen in the next few cycles, and then you just go and plan ahead. Like I talked about getting out even before the bull run came, right? So I need you to go and start opening as many exchanges, right, as possible, and finding credible P2P liquidators, P2P providers that can help you get out of your stable coins. But I would not recommend P2P so much, because if you are very new to the space, right, and especially when the markets become very hot, you're going to get a lot of P2P scammers. P2P scammers are just basically like, okay, you're trading with a particular dude and you're going to meet him or her, right, to get cash. That means you're getting out. You're getting out of your position. So the issue here that I have is that if you're in a country that has the ability to carry guns or has a very high crime rate, I would not recommend that. I would rather you go through, like say for example, Coinbase, or you go through, okay, Binance. I think they still have a P2P on certain countries. Huobi, you know, these kind of things. But centralized exchanges also have their cons, which is the fact that they can still be hacked, right? They can still be hacked. So it all boils down to who has the best security team and who has a big enough insurance buffer. You know, like Poloniex, I think it's, wait, I don't want to get my facts wrong, but I think Justin Sun just recently had one of his exchanges hacked for 100 million. So the question is, okay, Justin Sun is obviously a clear billionaire by now, right? And when he came onto the scene in 2017 with Tron Network, right? I mean, okay, now he has already made a name for himself. So I don't want to talk about so much of his history, but you can, if you are veteran enough, you can just search through and go through like internet media about this guy. Okay, anyway, he's now a billionaire and everything. He's been kind of positioning himself in the right way. So okay, that being said, one of the exchanges that he bought was, I think it's Poloniex, or maybe it's Bittrex that got hacked for 100 million recently, very, very recently. So centralized exchanges with poor security and no insurance funds, right, I'd stay away from. Okay, so take note that you are still susceptible to all the possible risks, even though we are heading into a bull market. Like, it's clear when I saw that Bitcoin was already above 30,000. Now the question is whether it sustains. Maybe there's going to be a Christmas dump, and then there's going to be tokens that are still going to be unlocked throughout. Just be very mindful, guys. Be careful, right? And just identify where is the money going to be flowing in from, and then you roughly know, oh, okay, then you can go and start like researching on those coins, and you should be fine. You should do pretty well. It's not like, it's no brainer, guys. It's really not about the whole magic show in the front. It's what's happening behind the scenes. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next live stream.